You're set.
Good?
Yep.
All right, so my name's Jeremy Bowers and this is Megan. We were going to be talking today about her life journey and where she grew up, what it's been like business-wise, getting into this business, the whole journey and then business-wise, right? So Megan, just tell them real quick, where'd you grow up?
Grew up in Georgetown, Delaware.
Okay.
It's about 20 minutes from Lewis and Rehoboth. Born and raised there, and then went to college, Kutztown University, majored in elementary education, pre-K to fourth grade.
And then, I said the first one, I say your last name, Megan Reiss, so
Yes.
just in case you didn't remember her last name, I was just thinking about that. So then you went to Kutztown and you got into education. Did you become a teacher or no?
I did. I
Okay.
taught for 5 years. I
Okay.
taught third and fifth grade, special education, gifted, regular, and just everything and everyone. Taught in inner city Wilmington, Delaware,
Okay.
and then moved to Philly with my husband and now son and second one on the way.
Congrats.
Thank you. About 5 years ago.
So you grew up in Delaware, where at?
Georgetown.
Georgetown,
Yeah.
Delaware.
It's like farm country, takes like 30 minutes to
Okay,
get
so
to the
tell-
grocery store.
So you're right, so like, man, you're a heck.
Yeah. We're down at the correct.
Correct,
Yeah.
right, correct.
Yeah.
Did you have soda or pop?
Soda.
So.
No pop.
Okay.
No.
I had to learn that. Down here
Were
to
you
change
pop?
it. I was pop. I went to Wawa one time and asked for a pop, and the guy looked at me and said, "I don't have pop." So I went home to the golf cart and said, "There was no pop there for you." He said, "Dumbass, you're in Philly. You need to ask for a pop." Go back to this crazy thing called Wawa and walked in there. Never saw a Wawa, but eating marts. And walked in there and said, "Hey, where is the soda?" He goes, "Right here." It was the same guy. And then I had to go up and when I checked out, got my Pepsi or Coke. I checked out. I said, "Do you realize I asked you the same thing?" Because I had no idea what you were asking. So I went out. So
Where are you from?
Western PA, they don't say sub, they say pop. They don't say
Ohio.
hoagie, you say sub. Ohio, same thing.
Sub.
You said sub?
Yep.
Alright, so we're a mix, we're like a hybrid.
We're like, yeah,
So you're a little cooler because you at least can get to the shore. How far is the shore?
the beach, not the shore.
Beach. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Beach. Yeah, we did. So that's funny, we grew up the beach too, it was not the shore, I just
Yeah.
live here now long enough, it's the shore.
I got corrected when I moved here. I said, are you going down to the shore? Yeah, correct, very quickly.
So you went to the beach, where'd you go, Ocean City, Maryland?
Rehoboth,
Rehoboth.
Lewis, we did
Yeah.
the drive on beach, so we threw the fishing poles out and, did the crabbing with
Yeah.
chicken on a string, pulled it up.
What was the biggest thing you ever caught? Really good?
Probably a crab and then fell in the boat trying to chase us.
So you weren't very good at it.
No, it was not very good.
You weren't very good. Shot a deer one time and then they told me I had to gut it and then I gutted it and then I lost it down the stream because I didn't realize that once you gut an animal, it can fill up with water. So you shouldn't do that before you cross a stream. So I had to chase it down the river to get it and then I realized I hate hunting,
Yep.
killing animals, and I did it again.
And I went
Oh,
once
he
with
wasn't
my
very
dad, cried for like days, so I was like, never again.
Did you at least tell him that, hey, Dad, I don't like doing this?
Oh yeah, I was like hiding, like covering my ears. I was like, I'm never doing it again. Never doing this.
So 5 years freezing, my birthday is November 26th, so it's always buck season, so I'm in the woods, the last thing I want to do is hang out with a bunch of dudes drinking way too much beer in the woods, hunting, and I literally said to my dad one year, I said, "Dad, I really don't know how to say this, but can we not do this?" He goes, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I hate this." I said, "I hate this. We've been staying in the woods freezing for 7 years." He goes, "Yeah, I thought it was because of your son, father's time." I was like, "This is horrible." He goes, "I never hunted again."
Oh, that's amazing. Oh my gosh.
So the same thing, when you just got the dead dad, do you hunt fishing?
Oh, he kept going. I was like, absolutely not. Nothing to do with it.
So what did you do for fun? Did you play sports, go to school, you were bad? Like, tell me about your childhood. How were you?
I was very type A, rule follower, had to be,
Yep.
had to listen to everything my parents said. Played sports all my life.
What'd you
so Played softball.
Okay.
Um,
What position?
I played center field
Yeah.
and I pitched.
So you're quick,
Yes.
hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, short, so.
Short, yeah. How are you?
Quicker to do.
Better in the field or a hitter?
Better in the field,
Better in the field.
yes.
All right, so since you played softball, what's your prediction on the Phillies? Win
Um,
or lose?
I think it's gonna be close, but I'm going with Phils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both really, really good.
Yeah.
And we'll go
Kenya,
the
the
Astros, yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say Right now, it's cheaper to fly, as of yesterday, to Houston to go to the game than come here. So I looked at it, debated it, but the ticket rate now, the cheapest ticket is normally 1,500 standing room only right now, up to 42,000. I found 4 at 1,250, and they're $150 tickets.
So that's just, it's a lot of money.
So I don't know, right now, price TV, you going to the game or no?
We got offered tickets on Monday. We might go.
What?
We might go.
Why would you not go? Don't offer tickets free.
We just have to find a babysitter.
Listen,
Jeremy will babysit.
yeah, you're a salesperson, you definitely have to get a babysitter.
All right.
How old's the kid?
3.
Right, what day?
Monday, Halloween. It's trick or
It's
treat,
a tough
it's
one,
like,
yeah. But, drop your girl.
Boy.
Drop her off, drop him off. Alexa will babysit. An outfit probably for him.
Poor Alexa.
Yeah.
He's a big kid.
Fit in family.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, let me know.
Okay, where the candy?
Alexa's coming today. Let's see what she says.
All right, let's ask her.
That's crazy, though. So that's funny you say it, because that was Monday and Tuesday seemed to be the days that people were kind of like overdue getting rid of. Monday's probably the highest because
It's Halloween, yeah.
You like Halloween or no?
I do. I mean, I like candy.
Do you like scary movies or no?
No.
I know you don't.
No.
It's like Chucky, Child's Play, kind of that.
Anybody do that? It's okay.
My sister would hide up in bed and like grab my feet and go chuck her lap, so. No scary.
So during Halloween, you ever ask this person this question, you say, hey, listen, can you tell me something scary? We really did this at a real estate function with coworkers, and someone said, I really enjoyed watching on TV is people pulling out drills and drilling their brain. I was like, I've never asked this question.
What's happening?
Is that weird?
I can tell you. It was very, very, they're not in real estate anymore,
Okay.
but thank God.
The things you ask around Halloween. I like Halloween, but I think it's a little creepy sometimes with how people have like they dress up in these really wild outfits and I don't know.
Let's do that.
Yeah, be careful when you ask people about Halloween, like what they do. They work at a different company now, not just So you literally were an athlete. Dad took you fishing, weren't into fishing. You were a good athlete. You followed.
Oh, I played field hockey and I played field hockey in college.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Right, Trinstown?
Yes.
Constitution.
Close. No N.
Cuts.
Drop the N.
Like cut.
Gotcha. No wonder you cut.
Close. Yes. It's like Amish country.
I work for a company called Kuntz,
Oh.
and there's an N in it. That's why I probably said it.
Yeah.
So what position you play in field hockey? Nothing. Anybody know anything about field hockey? Anybody? Okay.
They blow the whistle a lot.
They blow the whistle a lot?
Yep.
The 2 girls that played it, I never learned the rules.
I know, I be out on the field yelling. Why are you blowing the whistle? That's it down.
So what position? Like top, front, middle, back?
So middle school and high school, I played forward and midi, and then college, I played back, so defender.
So forward, you were a scorer,
Yes.
and then you played defense.
Yes. Yep.
So you went to school there, you graduated all A's, right?
Yes.
And
Yep.
then you got teaching. Where were you teaching at?
Mount Pleasant Elementary School, which is in Wilmington, Delaware, Brandywine School District. Taught for 5 years, retired in 2018.
Tired.
Got out.
What made you get out?
So I had always been interested in real estate. In college, I had a blood clot and had my first rib removed.
Ooh,
Um,
from sports or just
From
general?
sports and injury. So that took me out. I played 2 seasons. Was ending up having problems again, purple hand, arm swollen in 2018. Got surgery again. They ended up taking this fully out. It's the first rib, so it's like up here, not in like your actual rib cage. So
How'd that feel?
terrible.
And then how long was that rehab like?
Did PT for 3 months, was on blood thinners, whole 9. So,
Pull you out, break it, and pull it out?
break me.
Break the rib, right? Then pull it out,
Oh
right?
no, it's like a tiny little, it's like right up in
Oh,
here.
really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I asked if I could keep it, they said
That's a good question.
I know, right?
You
have to ask.
Keep it, right?
Yeah,
That's
so that's
a good story.
Yeah.
Did you get down to Delaware or here?
I got first one I got done at Lehigh Valley, and then the second one I got done at Jefferson.
And then, so school you're done, and then
Yep.
how did you get real estate?
So as soon as I got my license, I was driving around beach towns for hours with my friends, just looking at all of the luxurious
Yeah.
beach homes. Anytime someone said you wanted to come over, I'd go, I'd say, give me a house tour. Would go in, wanted to see everything, would sit down with the parents and ask them about like construction and just like renovations. My friends would be off, swimming in the pool, I'd be sitting there with a dad for like hours. So I met my husband in 2013,
Okay.
at a bar,
I would say
Mackenzie's,
we're in, okay.
Mackenzie's in Glen Mills,
Okay.
at his birthday party. He was in development. He flipped a house in Newark, Delaware, right by University of Delaware. So he had tenants at the time, completely like asbestos siding, like removed everything. So he said, my tenants are moving out, I think I'm gonna put it up for sale. I said, well, I think we should just go take a look. Let's just go look. So we go over there, I'm like, we have to move in. Like, I wanna do this in the basement, we're gonna do a theater, we're gonna do this. And he's like, this was the worst decision ever, why did I take you there? I don't want to put
Good
it
setting, right?
Yeah, so I'm like, we're moving in, we're doing projects. So got to learn a little bit about renovating.
18, 2018, 19?
We moved in 2015,
Okay.
Newark,
Before you
Delaware.
got a real estate.
Yep.
Okay.
So I was teaching at the time, wasn't super happy with teaching, extremely overwhelming. Loved the kids, just didn't have support.
Paperwork, all the crap.
Yep. Yep, benefits were great, but I mean, kids and benefits, that's it.
Covers off.
So that was nice, but I was still very much so into real estate. So 2018, when I had the issues with a possible another blood clot, surgery again, I said now's the perfect time to kind of wiggle my way, try real estate. So my husband's best friend owned a management company in Temple University. And
What was it called?
MK Management.
MK Manager, okay.
It's now Home 365.
Okay.
So at the time, he had development properties owned, I want to say, maybe 190 units in Temple.
Nice.
And then he had other development clients who managed the properties. So I called him and just said, hey, I'm thinking about getting into real estate. What is your advice? And he was like, I've been waiting for this call. He was like, why don't you come be a leasing agent for me? And that was in 2018. I said, well, what does a leasing agent do? He said, well, you're gonna lease properties, you're gonna work with college kids. I said, okay, I know nothing about that. That sounds great. I'm not a teaching.
Yeah.
So started in July. They have what's called a turnover period. So you go in for 2 weeks at a time. The Temple students move out. You go in, put on gloves. You are cleaning. You are getting everything done. So I was like, all right, this isn't what I thought, but all right, here we are. We're out of teaching. So turned over all the units. Kids moved in, and then we started leasing properties, and I absolutely loved it.
How did you lease your first year? Do you remember?
I want to say 225 units.
Wow.
From October to January. So it was
That's a lot.
a lot of running. Yeah.
There's so many good people that started off as rental agents. You ever notice that? And there's some people that missed the boat, like me, that never realized that was a good way to get started off rentals.
Yeah, I knew nothing about contracts, nothing about negotiating. I love to chat.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is my way in. I'll just chat it up and fake it till I make it.
And you're organized, so it was
Yes.
easy once you got it done to make sure you got taken care of, right?
Yep, very type A.
Yep.
Everything needs to be this way.
So then that's 18, 19?
That was, yes, 18, 19.
Where'd you go after that?
So right as the world shut down, I gave my 2 weeks notice. So it was a salary plus commission. So it was kind of that, in between. At the time, I had been talking to another brokerage to do leasing, but it was my opportunity to go into sales. I had brought it up to MK several times. They weren't really getting into that, it's just a bigger liability. So, but anytime an investor would call, I would put together pro formas, I would talk to them about cap rates, looking at rents per bed, everything. Did some off-market kind of presenting to California investors and went on Zooms and just kind of learned my way in the investment world, which is great. So I was talking to another brokerage at the time, JG Real Estate in Fishtown. Ended up going on several interviews, was nervous to leave. It was a much lower salary, but a bigger opportunity to get into sales. So I started with them. There was a period of COVID, no one's working, so stayed at home with my little one for a few months, and then in maybe May of 2018, no, that would have been 2020, May of 2020, COVID times.
Yeah.
Joined JG. I was a leasing agent there. I was their top leasing agent.
How did you do?
Probably in their year round, so they're like young professionals, not students, so maybe 330.
That's crazy.
Lots of running around.
Yeah.
But got to know the city, which was awesome, because I lived in the city, but I got to know Rittenhouse, Chinatown, South Philly, Boymenton.
During the day, nights, weekends, all around.
9 to 5, we worked one night a week and every other Saturday. And
So you're doing good there.
Yep.
What brought you with us?
so I'll back up a little bit.
Yeah.
So got my first call at MK from an investor from New York.
Yeah.
She's a physician, she wanted to invest in the Philadelphia market. Talked to her, told me her budget, a little unrealistic, but it was my first sale, so I was like, I'm gonna work with her and we're gonna learn this together. So I had gotten that call in 2019, took her out on a bunch of showings. We ended up finding a burned out shell in Temple, which was my very first sale. She had no idea. Bought it for $115,000, then we picked up a vacant lot in Little Kensington for $60,000. Talked to her about development. My husband's in construction and development, so used his language to kind of put it on her, and it was great. So that was my first sale in June 2020. So,
Right when COVID kind of opened up a little bit.
yep.
Yeah.
She referred me to another physician at the hospital, who then referred me to another contractor, and things just kind of started to open up there. So I realized that leasing gave me a lot of opportunities to grow and communication and learn the contracts and talk to people, but I couldn't see myself leasing forever. And I love the thrill of the sale. So in 2020, I think on top of full-time leasing, I think I closed $1.5 million doing like sales part-time. In 2021, I really started to reevaluate, just because they were more focused on leasing, which that was my full-time job, rightfully so. But I realized, okay, now it's time to really get my butt in gear. I have people in the pipeline. How am I going to realistically do this and keep up with my family?
Yep.
So I met with a few other brokerages. I have a friend at Compass, was going to join a team there, was thinking about it more. I talked to Jim Romano, who's at KW Bluebell Township. Has a big team, suburbs to city. Talked to him, he was like, why don't you come join my team? I said, oh, go do business out there, So he was like, why don't I put you in touch with Jeremy Bowers? So we talked probably end of summer 2021, early fall last year. Just loved, you all know Jeremy. Loved what he had to say, got to meet with Mike McCann, Jim Onesti, just very, very comfortable. Gave myself more confidence than I thought that I had, and realized that this is what I need to do to grow my business.
Pause right there, you just dropped a huge golden nugget.
Sure.
So you guys ever notice, she's doing well, right? Did you notice what she just said? Most of us always think that we're not doing as good as others think. right? So that confidence booster of talking to me, Mike, and Jim gets her to reconfirm that it could do more. During coronavirus and then during times now shifting, don't isolate. Get into the office more. Get around other successful people. If I ever want to start to complain or get a little negative, I get around McCann pretty quick. I get around Jim really quick. I get around Erica real quick, right? So she realized at that point, it's a gold nugget tip, I think really what you said is, I realized that I could do more, but isn't it interesting, humans, most of us have a person outside that thinks we can do more than we can.
Exactly.
So now so what happens next?
So 2021, I was still doing sales part-time, but really hustling. And closed 3.5 million last year. I'm doing it part-time essentially. Just started to make more connections, and I kept reading about all this stuff like cold call, and that works for some people, and that's wonderful. That's not how I work. I'm terrified to pick up the phone and get rejected. So I relied on what I knew best, was to go to these events with my husband and my friends and just start talking to people and just kind of just drop the little hints that, I'm into real estate. For example, I was at a wedding this weekend and it was clients that will be looking to buy in a few months. I got invited to their wedding. I met them twice. Wonderful people. But we were sitting at the table with all of the bridesmaids, which I had no idea why, but
Great.
they were like, how do you know the bride? Yeah. So, we were talking and they were like, how do you know them? I was like, well, we were looking for a luxurious rental in Fiddler Square a few years ago. And they were like, oh, you're a realtor? My mom's looking for a house. I'm looking for a house. And, I didn't have my business cards on me at the time. So I took their number.
I love it.
So that's just a little tip I learned by coming here. And
So if you gave the business card, what happens?
oh, then you don't know if they're gonna contact you.
They have cocktails in them, they don't cocktails, you have no idea.
I'm obviously not drinking, so.
Gold nugget tip real quick, let's see. Anybody have a wallet? Does anybody have business cards on them?
Yes.
Alright, I do not.
The best thing is have on the back of your phone, your business card. You always have your phone, right? So, and have it branded, Keller Williams or your brand or whatever it is. I hand these out to clients. I actually put them on their phone. So let me see your phone. And I put this on my card in that. I give them their phone back. So you can take it off after I do. That way. And I keep a credit card.
The point is, she said was, she didn't give me the card. So I don't have cards. I do have cards. I don't say not to have cards. Have a couple, but always if you do, act like you don't have a card. And then get their info. And then if you do have a card, then give them a card. But if she gave the cards at that wedding, are they literally gonna go home on Saturday night after having cocktails or non-cocktails and type your information into their phone or computer?
No.
Code, that's what we're going with now. The code's the little, yeah,
QR code.
QR. Code.
I personally like those, but the thing that still concerns me about it is when I give them my info, it goes in their phone. I want their info. So if I scan it into their phone, I still don't have their info. That's just something to think about, like as a group when you're meeting people and talking to people. So your thing is center influence.
Yes.
So give us some other examples, like, let's back up. What's your typical day? What's your typical day in real estate? Like, I wake up, I'm a mom, like, just tell us what a typical day like.
Pre-pregnancy.
Pre-pregnancy.
Pre-pregnancy. Day was extremely organized. Would wake up. I spend my time in the morning playing with my son, who's 3.
Ballpark time, like.
He wakes up 7:15, 7:30. We get breakfast. We play blocks. We read books. We do the whole 9. I drop him off between 8:45 and 9.
Yeah.
It was like a 5-minute drive from our house, so he goes.
Where you living at?
That's in Old Kensington, but daycare's in North Liberties.
Okay.
So like a 5-minute drive.
Okay.
So we drop him off. I started to make a ton of the point of contact for all the parents at the daycare, which is been overwhelming, but great.
Yeah.
So I run like our Facebook page. I send out all the reminders for Spirit Week. I help organize lunches for the teachers. Lots of parents have asked me for my contact info, so I've connected with so many parents, probably 40, 50 parents there, which has been awesome.
I like the age that she's dealing with compared to trying to get people to sell your house once your kid's in high school or college. Because there's a good shot there, right? I probably know someone.
Right.
Right now, I'm trying to refocus on my brother's, my niece, because she's 7. So she's in second grade, I think she's in second grade, she's 8 now. But that's easier than the later you get, so you can't do it. So that's great you're doing that.
Yeah.
You're the connector.
And a lot of them, unfortunately, fortunately, move out of the city for schooling. So a lot of them have asked me, every day I'm in, a hot mess in the morning, drop off, always put together though. But, a lot of them are asking, what are rates like? What's the market like? What are you seeing? Just have so many questions. So it's been great, and, I end up saying, I don't have my business card on me, let me get your number, can I friend you on Facebook, and we'll connect that way. So
I love that.
that's been a huge connector.
So
Yeah.
center influences, where do you think you're gonna end up this year?
Everything, knock on wood, because
Yep.
it doesn't close till it closes, but I should be around 5.5 million.
Feels good, doesn't it?
It feels very good, yes.
How often do you compliment yourself enough, do you think?
No.
Is that interesting? In this group right now, how often do you wake up and say, dang it, I did it, I'm gonna close $5.5 million in one track, I hit my goal? Anybody? Right? Try to bring that back into your life. Journaling helps you that, with journaling what you're doing well, what you'd like to improve, but try to keep on reaching on what you're doing well. Because this is a good example, you're crushing it, you're doing well, you're happy,
Yep.
right? You're healthy,
Yes,
you're about to have a second baby,
yes.
you just got asked to the World Series. Jeremy's gonna babysit the son.
Boom.
Boom. I couldn't do any better. How do you continue to keep all this together? Like your family's growing, your center of influence business. Like what tips would you give the group? Like how do you stay balanced? Where you whacked out? Like you're not organized. Like tell me what's your tips on that?
I think honestly, the best thing that could have happened was to get pregnant, in a lot of different ways. I have an extremely supportive husband who understands the business. He's in construction and development and gets it. There's never any question of, all right, mommy has a showing right now. Then it's just like, all right, Owen, you're coming with me. We're gonna open the stalls. We're gonna do a project. So having a very supportive spouse and a partner who understands. Getting pregnant with the second just honestly has pushed me to hustle more because I know that there's going to be a time where I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be able to for a little, but it's just, I think I was getting very hard on myself in the last few months of summer. And then things have it's been going really well, which I'm shocked at for this fall market, so.
Who are you leveraging? Like who's your transaction manager? Do you have an assistant? Like who's your leverage?
No assistant, but I do hire Sarah Cadman and her team for every transaction. They're absolutely wonderful. I have Sarah Cadman's personal number. I've sent her so much wine. She is beyond amazing, has handled every transaction extremely smoothly, knows every answer under the sun, or if she doesn't, she finds out within minutes. So if you haven't connected with her, I would highly suggest it. It's $350 a transaction. She has completely saved my sanity.
Good, so you're leveraged there on the transaction side.
Yes.
How about, what are you doing for outsourcing marketing? Are you doing the marketing? What are you doing there?
I do marketing. I have used Erin a bunch. She has created my signs, has created my cards. She's wonderful. Even if I have questions, I've reached out to Erin and she's been super helpful. I do suggest every week I meet with one of my preferred lenders. We meet for coffee. She has a young son. We talk about mom stuff. We talk about mortgage, real estate, everything. We just meet. We had a whole session on like the 2-1 buy down and a 1-1 buy down. So that's been helpful to keep each other kind of in the loop of what's happening. So if you don't already have a lender, I would highly suggest talking to that side. It's been tremendous in helping me my business.
What would you like to improve upon in your business?
venturing out to maybe try cold calling, or try other things. I've tried door knocking.
How about appreciation events? Do you do appreciation events?
I don't,
You do really well. You're organized.
yeah,
You focus on center of influence.
Yep.
What do you think stopped you on that?
I think again, my biggest thing is just being rejected. So I think having the appreciation events, I have an idea of how I want it to go, and if it doesn't go that way, like, did I fail, or do I just improve on it next time? I think it's,
So let's talk about this. I said a fall on that. There's 150 people there.
Yeah.
40% of my people did not come and said they were gonna come.
like RSVP.
Cool, right? Right, said they were coming. So you're kind of freaking out. There's this important game that popped up, the World Series. The World Series, NLC Championship, right? And then you had some nuts that went to Penn State, like myself and my brother, who's my neighbor and my best friend, didn't come. Because we only watched the Penn State football game. But the point of was, the appreciation event, not who comes, who doesn't come, it's the invite. So the people that didn't come, they were just as thankful as the person that came. And then the people that didn't come feel like they owe me something because I had an event. What I found was one of the people came and that person's looking, and I only reconnected that person over 20 years because my brother had a birthday event and I got an ice cream truck. So now anybody who buys a house from us gets a free ice cream truck at their first housewarming party.
Now, if they don't have kids, they gotta come up with a different idea, or maybe they're adults, they want ice cream trucks.
Cost no more than $300, and all our marketing now says, ask us about the free ice cream truck. So the challenge, yeah.
Okay.
And you have $300, and if you get the fancy dancy, it's $800 to $1,200. Most food, I've researched 30 plus of them. I have a Slack channel just on this. About $1,200 to $1,500 is food trucks right now. Pizza wagon, cheesesteaks. We just gave 200 cheesesteaks away. 200 cheesesteaks away. I went to the studio as part of it in Conchi. Those cost about $20. So that gets a little pricey compared to ice cream. But I would recommend someone like you. You have the city connection, the Burke connections. For the kids, I would have the graduation party or the daycare party and get an ice cream truck and have the ice cream truck come to the school. So like, for example, May, whatever, maybe we start before then, have an ice cream truck come, have them hit the buzzer, everybody loves the buzzer.
Yeah.
They don't care what the truck looks like, the crappier the better, these kids like ice cream on the sticks. And literally do that at the school
Okay.
and watch people remember you as, the person who provides.
Ice cream.
Yeah. And whatever that is, it could be a pizza party, whatever it is, like any sporting event, I sponsor all the teams and always offer a pizza party at the end. And that's 12 parents I didn't know before. It's also the right thing to do and be thankful and be grateful for who you are as a person. But there's 12 more people that I didn't know because of the pizza party. There's never rejection on it. It's weird. Like, I had one dude that's kind of weird, local here. Said some weird stuff, but there is no rejection on center of influence. Like today, the Halloween party, this is a good example.
Okay.
A trick or treat party. No one's really mean to us at the office by saying, hey, you want to come and trick or treat at our office? Right?
Right.
But gave you a shot to reach out. You came to our appreciation party. Was there anything earth shattering about it?
No.
Right, but you wanted to come and shadow it. And I think we should do more next time. I just didn't think about it. If you want to come to someone's appreciation party, I would ask in the office, can I come to one? What did you learn by it?
It was very warming, families gathering together, meeting new people, them just having a good family day out.
So you just had like roasted marshmallows, we had food, we had TV, we had family pictures. The family pictures is a no-brainer. That one you should definitely do in a city.
Okay.
So your business is split between city and burbs, right?
Yes.
I would really get a professional photographer set up at a bridge or somewhere local right there and tell them to do family photos. Kind of hard now, but maybe you can get a sleigh brought in and do something for the winter time with like Santa.
Okay.
Because what's gonna happen now is every fall, anybody came to our event, Nicole, we're gonna put this on Slack, she said we're gonna do it, we didn't do it. Is every person that came is gonna get a picture and a frame, and it's gonna send to them during the holidays. Because think about it, you guys have appreciation event, you do the family pictures, they're gonna post the family pictures on their social media, tag you, like you, and let everybody know you did the picture. What's the photographer cost? McCann's got great photographers, I use both his photographers for the event, you know what I mean? Like literally, Drew does them, and then who's the other one, Nicole, Mike? What's the other guy's name?
Tim.
Tim.
Tim Becker.
Yeah, so we use both, the mistake we made is we should have had a videographer and a photographer, because he was always taking the family photos. So Jeremy and Nicole became the photo of the event.
It was a lot happening.
Honestly, that's the worst thing that happened. Like, is it just wow, like, that's it, like, who cares? Like, I forgot a second photographer.
Right, Nicole, that's your first one you ever did, no, right, second one?
Second one.
Anything ever really bad happen?
No. It's a great time. We had a couple drinks, Kids were running around, moving pumpkins all over the place. It was just a nice little welcoming gathering.
Especially your son's age, I would look at also just renting something out, like a jungle gym kind of, what the indoor bounce houses that I hate that every parent has to go to for X amount of years and it becomes like Groundhog's Day.
Or craft hall.
Yeah,
Or
there you go.
around with a beer.
Yeah, there you go, do something like that. Because I would recommend February for you, because February is dead, and especially in the city. What I've noticed in the city compared to the burbs is the burbs you have at least a little bit more room to breathe. Where in the city, your house is a little smaller, your yards are a little bit smaller, you don't have as much going on. Sled riding is not happening outside as much. You have to go to sled ride. Like, there's certain things. I'd recommend getting something planned for February, around the greatest holiday in America, Groundhog's Day. And literally do something in the city where people get people out. Just keep on thinking, get people out. You're not gonna spend more than $2,000. I mean, that's my best takeaway from today, right, from her business and from what you've done. If you built something really quick, you're very attentive, you're very direct, you're very good, you're very appreciative, you're very grateful. Now, I would just say, as you built this business as a trade, and you have these first wins, you need to get to the second and the third and the fourth by just focusing more on the daycare and focusing on that third and their friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be negative. Health-wise, it doesn't take as much as people think. At the event, we can talk about another day, like what it takes to run the appreciation event. But up front, we leverage Aaron for marketing.
Yep.
Send out a MailChimp email. We text people, we do not mass text, and we call people. And I like blah, blah. But that's it. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing else crazy we're doing that costs a lot of money. MailChimp, you can get a free account.
That's what I use.
Yeah.
for,
Yeah, and frankly, we have a boatload, we pay $80 a month. Nothing like that for it, so. And then you're partnered with Mortgage and Title.
Yep.
So, I would say that would be my next challenge to you or staffing for you. When's your next baby due?
April 3rd.
So,
A little bit.
yeah, maybe do something in January then if you wanted to, like
Yeah.
mid-January. Just kind of stay away from that December 10th to the 30th. There's just way too many holiday parties and people actually just start saying no. Like, yeah, like
Sure.
main lines is the beginning of the month. I always push that really hard at first, as much as you can. Phillies is like middle, just because you're a lot more parties. So what do you think, what do you do, one last question, I open up to the group here. What do you think that you like to share with everybody that you've done well, and you think other people should, take some advice or some tips that, because you're pretty quick.
Yeah,
So what do you think?
I think I was very nervous. So I'm from Delaware, and although it's not that far away, I knew no one in Philly. Most of my girlfriends I went to college with are anywhere between 2 to 12 hours away. So literally knew no one moving to the city. I think if you grew up here, great, you have those connections already. If you don't, I promise you can do it. Just do what's comfortable for you. I hate cold calling and probably will never do it unless I somehow sit with someone and maybe they convince me to. But I enjoy chatting. I enjoy connecting. I find the connection between us. So at daycare, it's very easy. They're a parent, I'm a parent, our kids go to school together. We just built a new house in Manningham. I'll admit, everything was extremely tough, so I was very sick, but I was there every day. I was the subcontractor, I was the superintendent on site. So I sat there, locked myself down in a chair and just talked to all the supers, all the subcontractors, involved in lunch, got them coffee, started talking renovations, real estate, everything. Ended up getting probably 13 or 14 different numbers or contacts just from that. So I think you have to do what's right for you. If you enjoy cold calling, great. I hope you do very well, but just find the connection piece. It's not as difficult and a lot is what you make it out to be. I made it seem at first that it's gonna be this huge thing that I need to have a script, and sometimes you do, but just talking to people, getting to find out what they're interested in and finding something that you both connect with.
My favorite question is when you meet a person, you just get into a gold nugget. What do you do for fun? Like, ask that question to people, like, what do you do for fun? What's your interest? Because most people don't want to talk about business. Real estate's an easy one.
Yep.
What do you do for fun?
Yoga, like playground.
Where do you yoga? In the city?
Yes, Monarch,
Do hot yoga or regular yoga?
regular, no.
What happened to hot? You ever tried?
I'm a sweater, so
Yeah.
already there's that, but
Yeah.
then when you throw in the extra hot, it's not good.
You did it a couple of times or one time?
Yeah, twice, and then I just ended up laying down the second one. Cause I'm just
Anybody do hot yoga here?
I did once.
Does it take time to get used to it?
Almost threw it.
I threw up the first time and gave up at the win.
Well, I ate Chick-fil-A before, so it was also,
That's
it's
never
probably,
good.
yeah.
Chick-fil-A.
It was me. It was me.
Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah, I'd walk right out the room.
Yeah, by the way, you ever look at the Chick-fil-A sauce, the container on their special sauce? I threw it out of the house. I was like, this is illegal. It cannot come in the house. The fat content.
I'm not gonna
on
look at it.
Chick-fil-A sauce is one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
I'm not looking
The
at it.
Chick-fil-A is like fattening and putting the sauce on it. I forget how much it was. Just heads up. I didn't do it.
I don't.
I'm not looking.
Just dip it and do it. What questions you guys have?
It's great to hear you come. It's funny, teachers make such great, real estate agents. One of the key things, your partner or husband supports your efforts. It's so critical to grow the real estate business. But look at all the people that came to see you today, right? If you had a housewarming or a client appreciation party, you would be a natural at it, and it would tremendously grow your business, and you just start small. I'm not a cold caller either. I've never cold called, ever. To me, that's like begging. I do realize you have to do it today, but I didn't have the scripts. I didn't have all the training today, so I always like to have attraction. But a client appreciation party would be great. But it's great, just networking the people that you have, and then following up with it. So I always just say, for your housewarming, if someone buys a house, offer them a housewarming party, and that way, get 20 or 30 of their people that'll come, and you just fund it with the sponsor maybe to have drinks and a little bit of food and stuff like that.
Yeah, come up with your niche in that housewarming
And
party.
yeah, and then so I never did until I came to the Keller world. I never did a client appreciation. I was afraid to.
Who got you to do
My-
an appreciation event?
I'm sorry.
Who got you to do one?
What do you mean? You got me doing? Did you do it? Did you do?
Basically.
But I've been doing them now. But the first one, I was always afraid that my blue collar would get drunk and punch my executive in the face. My clientele is, from 100,000 to 3 million. I just thought, all these people. But we had one after I first came to California.
How did you do your
It was the best day. It was the best I ever had because I was appreciating the people that were there. Not that the two didn't come, and I saw people that I didn't say. I'm sorry. What was that, Chair?
No, I mean, you had a really good success story when you actually had that event. I forget how many opportunities you got. It was crazy.
Oh, it was a great. But I was hungover and I don't even drink from the love and the exhaustion and seeing people I hadn't seen. It was a kind of a big one. But start small, like my son or some people do. Hey, I'm going to do a happy hour, at a beer garden in Philly for an hour and a half. And he just texts like 30 people, and they show up, and they get to meet each other, and they just talk, and some show up. So 5 or 10 might show up, and 30 might show up. But getting together with people, especially in this post-COVID or current COVID, whatever it is really important. Anyway, I heard a lot of great stuff. I really appreciate it. And
Thanks, Mike.
That was a very golden nugget tip. Take advantage of the Phillies right now.
Oh,
So you could have something Saturday night and just text 15, 20 people to get together and watch the Phillies. And most of the time, people don't even care you buy the drinks.
Yeah, I'm just getting some people together to watch the Phillies.
You guys want to, meet up Saturday at this spot? I got this area reserved, and then just get them together. You know, buy the first grade, but most people are just glad to get an invite to get together with people.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a really good tip. Anybody else? What's a takeaway or?
What's your follow-up? You met 12 people the other day.
I'm a big texter. So, and that's typically how a lot of people that I've connected with prefer. So I'll text right away afterward and be like, wow, this trim looks so good. I'm so glad you suggested the trim on the beam and the white beam. And they're like, oh, thanks so much. Like, I'm so glad you like it. And then we had a contractor happy hour last Friday. So we invited all of them over who worked on the house.
Oh, that's smart.
We got Deeks barbecue, pizza, subs, beer, seltzers, the whole nine. Told them to bring their kids, everyone. They came over, we gave like a little speech. And then I texted everyone, so that was 2 texts. And then I texted everyone the next day and was like, it was so great meeting your wife, Marguerite, and your son, Johnny. Thanks so much for coming.
Do you keep a CRM or anything so you have that organized?
Great question. I have Streak. So I have Streak. So it's Gmail. It's free through Gmail if you download it. And I tag everyone. I put like listings, buyers, past renters. I tag them in a different pipeline. And then there's a tag there that you can do a follow-up. So it's like, you know, if someone I just met yesterday, I'll do the follow-up the next day. And it's like, so great meeting you. And I'll put in the notes like, has a son who's 3, lives in Valley Kenwood, wants to move in 5 years. And I'll just talk life at first and then get eventually to real estate and more business things. But Streak is really good and it's free.
How about, what is your tip? You meet someone.
Yeah.
How do you remember the names? Do you write down in notes, paper, you're really good at names, or how do you know?
I keep repeating it and then I somehow make some kind of like song or acronym in my head. I think it was just because of DJing too. Yeah, or something that rhymes with it, and then immediately I'll go in and I have like 2,000 notes in my phone. Of just like acronyms and names, and then I'll go to my CRM or my Streak and tag them in there and put all their contact info.
So use notes on your iPhone, that's the same with me, like I'll meet someone, like you walk back into a bar or restaurant, say you've been to Cape May in a while.
Yep.
And you're like, hey, Mark, it's great seeing you. It's like, hey, what's up? He doesn't know idea why. He might know my face and name. The next thing you know, that conversation.
Or I leverage my husband. I'm like, Ben, I'm really good at the name. You can just go introduce yourself and ask.
Affiliations, how do you do that? You do rhymes, you said?
Yes.
Anybody else do that? It comes up a lot with people.
Like association?
Yeah.
So what would you say, what else? I can keep on asking you questions. What else? Logan, what was the takeaway you got?
Well, I don't have any kids, so that was hard. One was, okay, when I have kids, I'm gonna be the mom that's, you know, on the parent conference meeting, whatever, and children, all the get-togethers. So I'm gonna do that maybe in 5 to 10 years when I have kids. And then, I mean, 2 was kind of just, like, I am from the area, so I do like know who I've grown up with, so maybe just finding a way to connect with them, like you did, sending a text or just keeping in contact, and maybe doing an appreciation event with my friends. But it's definitely the kids stuff.
Is anybody doing an appreciation event coming up anytime soon? Yours.
The 21st of November.
What's yours?
Mine, February. We always do January or February.
All right, I'm gonna do another one before we set a date yet.
Mm-hmm.
Probably February.
Mm.
Reach out to a couple of you got mine and Shadow. If you come, I'm gonna take a whole bunch, but if you could have 2, 3, 4 people pop by and appreciation, that'd be cool for the sake. Would that help you?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay, so that would kind of help that. What else? What's another takeaway?
So my takeaway is, I think the way that you're getting your clients is the most effective way, you know, being involved in something. You don't have to have kids to do it, although admittedly that makes it easier. When my kids were young and they were involved in stuff, it's such a great opportunity to meet so many people. But, you know, you make that first connection, whatever, it could be at the gym, it could be whatever. And then if you have just any kind of follow-up, you've got a chance to get them. And that's always, I never did cold calling. I was never comfortable with it. And you know, an example of cold calling, I had a listing about a year ago, and it was the contract was ending, and I said, let's get it off the market for a period of time, bring it back on. And I warned him, I said, your phone is gonna ring off the hook with everybody coming after you for this listing. The day that it expired, in the next 24 hours, he got 102 phone calls around looking for, and it was a nice big house, but 102 phone calls looking for his listing. So what's your chance of getting that, that listing on that cold call? So I just, it's a possibility, and it's good training, and it's honestly good training for speaking to someone you don't know, but I don't think it's how people are gonna get their business going. So I think my takeaway is the way you're doing it is the way to build it.
Yeah. Great. Authentic, good listener. Like I said, just remember those skills when you're talking to people, ask questions, you're probably not the person that's speaking a ton at that, you're asking questions.
Yeah, and that's what the question.
Thanks.
But I also know that you find something common, like you find the commonality
Yes.
in wherever the person is, you find something, and that's not how I am, like, 'cause, yeah.
Yes, makes conversations just flow.
Like you're just better in person.
Yes.
That's a very good point, we did not bring that up. In person definitely comes through better than phone.
Yes.
Like, I've Matt Donnelly cold calling these internet leads constantly, doing that. Matt, partner at Home Experts Via, he was doing like nothing. The next thing you know, I went to his wedding, he had 450 people at his wedding. An Irish wedding in the city, I'm like, you're never cold calling again. It's illegal, I'm an idiot. I should have asked you out to your database. And after that, there was a relationship. So this is a good point, it's like, be out in front of people. Phones probably won't be your weapon, in person will be your weapon. So the question, John, to leave you with this is, how many more times, the baby comes? And then after that, can you be in front of groups? That'd be appreciation. So you're doing great.
Thank you.
I'm grateful for you, lucky to have you. I'm glad you had shared today. Can we give her a round of applause? One last thing. Can you kill CNBC and tell them I gotta go? Buzz off.